My ex-husband left us. I say us because I'm talking about our babies too. And this man decides to go and get back with his high school sweetheart, leaving us high and dry, not even able to feed ourselves. So I decide to do something some people might call insane. My ex-husband's going around telling people that I'm petty for asking him to pay child support. He's literally the worst co-parent ever. Even when we were married, I took care of the kids and the household. I barely had time for myself. He contributes here and there, but he claims that he's not making as much money. I find that hard to believe because he's always taking his new girlfriend out. He never spent money on me, but he sure loves to spend money on her. It's her choice if he wants to get burnt for the second time. Yeah, he left me for a woman he's not seen in 17 years. A couple months ago, my husband told me that he was leaving me while we were on a family trip. He had been overly nice to me on the trip, which by the way was very suspicious, a giant red flag, but I didn't put my mind into it. He never went out of the way for me, I just resigned myself to the fact that my husband is unromantic. It turns out he's also terrible at breaking news to somebody. But despite those shortfalls, of course I loved him. We've been married for a decade, and we have 3 kids together who are very close in age. There's Ben, he's 9, Layla, 7, and Kian, 3. We took a family trip with the money that he got from quitting his job. He had this exciting business venture. He had sold me the idea that, well, we would be set. But as the devil's advocate, I knew that no startup would be successful right away, but I'd recently gone back to work, so I was sure that we'd be able to weather every storm. But then, of course, everything came tumbling down when he told me that he could no longer remain married to me. He told me a couple of days before we returned home, and I asked, "Is there another woman?" At least he was honest enough to tell me that he had reconnected with Eve. Yeah, his high school sweetheart. I know very little about her, only that they broke up in senior year, and it was difficult for him to get over it. But then he met me at university, and we got married just a few years later. I tried to find out about her when we were still dating stages, but when he caught me asking around about her, he wasn't happy, so I stopped asking about her. She was the last person I thought that would, do that to me. When we got home, he moved out to stay with his brother. Afterward, I had to explain to the children and my family what was happening. They were all supportive during the time, and I stayed strong, but I felt so betrayed. And then I met her in person, and from that day on, I absolutely just hated her. For it appeared that I had seen her several times. She came to my workplace several times as a client. She seemed overly friendly the few times that I spoke to her, and the day I recognized her was the day my husband introduced us because I wanted to see her. I asked her how long it's been going on because her dates did not match his. I told her that as a woman, she owed me honesty. She'd already taken my husband, the least she could do was be honest with me. Wow. I might as well have insulted her because the next thing that I knew, Peter was mad at me because, quote, I'm harassing his girlfriend. So then we got divorced and I got sole custody of my kids. Peter did not have a permanent place to stay yet, and I did not know why he did not move in with her, but it was none of my business. He did not have to pay child support for a while because of the fact that he was unemployed. I was patient for several months, but it's not easy. It's difficult to get even a cent from him. He prefers for me to send him lists of the things that the kids need so that he can buy them himself. Usually, Eve brings the things to the house, and he refuses to send cash, which, by the way, makes things a bit complicated. I know the amount of money I spend on those children is much more than the things that he needs and things that he sends. He just keeps on saying that he's not doing well with his business, but I don't believe a word that he's saying. It's not the truth. I know for a fact that he's doing well. Otherwise, he would not be expanding. Another thing that puzzles me is the fact that he wants to get married to Eve at the end of this year. Will that not mean he'll need to use money? He has money to marry her, but he doesn't have money to take care of his kids? I've wanted to sue him, but my sister Nicole tells me that I should not do that. She thinks that I'm overly dramatic at times and that I should give him a choice just to get back on his feet. He's lucky that he gets to start over, but I do not. I have the kids with me 5 out of 7 days, and on the days when I'm free, I'm too tired to even visit with my friends. So I've spoken to my lawyer about suing him for custody, even though my family is advising me not to. They've always taken his side because they see him as some sort of nice person. They don't know that he's selfish and cold and he just dumped me out of the blue, and now he will not take care of his own darn children. I did not make these kids on my own. He has to take care of them as well. I'm sure that if he cannot afford it, he can ask his family for help. He's never wanted to ask his family for help ever, for several years, even though they can afford it. They've even offered it. I mean, come on. I just fail to understand this man so many times. Am I the a-hole for suing him and winning? So he has to give me a lot of money. Even though people told me that I should just leave it, I decided to sue him. He appeared in court and he was forced to reveal how much he earned. He says that he's been paying me the equivalent of how much the kids need and feels that I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Well, since nobody's on my side, I have to provide my own proof. The judge clearly saw what was going on and demanded that he should pay me every single month. After the case was closed, that's when I heard interesting information. My ex is indeed planning to get married within a few months and has been saving up for it. This was confirmed when his girlfriend came to me and accused me of trying to ruin their relationship. She said that I've never even brought peace to him ever. She says that now it'll be difficult for them to get the wedding they want because the court is demanding so much of an outrageous amount of money. I told her I don't care about their stupid wedding. They can get married in a barn, for all I care. What I care about are my kids, and making sure they have everything that they need. I've explained this to all my family friends who have thankfully decided to shut up about the matter. I think that all is well and that ends well. Let this be a lesson for mothers out there. You don't have to bow down to pressure from anybody just because you're afraid to be called a crazy baby mama. Baby mothers go through the most because of men who don't want to support their babies. Do what I did and take him to court because your kids also deserve to have a good life. Right now, he hates me, and so does his side of the family. There are some of them who have chipped in to help with the kids, and now they say that they will not help with the babysitting and stuff like that, because I'm getting all this money from him. I don't get why they're withdrawing support from my babies when those kids are also part of their family. People really act funny when you prove that you're right, and then try to defend their deadbeat relative. Well, I don't care. My kids have my side of the family to support them. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. Today's story is very unique because update number 1 is from the husband's perspective. That's right, and the title is, My Ex-Wife is a Big Fat Liar. And it looks like, well, he found her post, and he decides that it's time to set the record straight. So guys, here is update number 1 from the husband's perspective. My ex-wife has literally lied at 80% of that post you just read. I know that it's her. I know her tone of writing, and she used the real name of my high school sweetheart, even though she hid everybody else's name. By the way, she's the one who suggested that we go on that trip with my money, even though we were already split. The reason we split is that months earlier, my mom passed away. I attended the funeral and asked Tania to bring the kids with me. But because she did not get along with my mom and, well, she's petty, she decides to switch off the phone. Even though I told her that if she failed to handle being at the funeral, then I would get somebody else to attend with our kids. She did neither of those, so my kids missed their grandmother's funeral. Then after the funeral, I came back home with some tea sets that belonged to my mom. I gave them to my daughter only to find out that my wife discouraged my daughter from playing with them and called them dirty. My wife was unempathetic during my mourning period, and this led to fights between us. In the end, we stopped sleeping in the same bedroom, and that is when Eve came back into my life. We became good friends and began reminiscing about the past, and things ended amicably between us. We both attended different colleges and did not think that it would work out. It was as simple as that. So, then we broke up. And soon after, I met my wife, who, by the way, I fell in love with. But she's always been demanding and materialistic. A lot of our money over the years that, should have gone to savings has instead gone to redecorating the house, going on trips to make other people jealous. So, on the trip, I realized that I was not happy, and I wanted to figure things out. At the time, I had not started dating Eve yet, but the idea of reconciling with her was there. She went ballistic when she found out, and then she took my phone. It was only weeks later when she met Eve that I found out that they've met at their workplace. She was not nice to Eve and told her that she could never compare to her because she gave me 3 kids. Not only that, but she involved her friends who started to bully Eve on social media. She did not let Eve have a relationship with the kids as well. I get it. I'm not a saint in all this. I will not claim to be, but I will not allow her to slander my girlfriend. When we got divorced, I was broken, and Eve was the one supporting me. I did not feel good about being unable to support my kids, so I asked my brother to lend me $2,000, which I sent to her. Well, I did not have to do that. After all, the business is slow, but I did it. And then over the months, I bought things for them. I also paid for 2 of their school fees, but on the receipts, she got them to write as her person who made the payment, so by the time it got to court, it looked like I had not paid for my own kid's school. I tried to prove to the judge that I was providing within my means, but she had that guy wrapped under her wings. So they then asked me to pay more child support, but let me tell you a little something. She does not use that money on our kids. She uses it to sustain her lifestyle. I know how much she earns, and it's not enough to sustain the life that she shows on social media. She's saying that she takes care of the kids 5 days a week, but guys, that is not true. Her sister, who is on my side, discouraged her from bleeding me dry because she knows that she's not struggling. She leaves the kids with her sister for 3 days a week, while she goes out and has a social life. I get it. She's also allowed to have a social life, but she does not need to lie to you guys and make it seem like she's struggling as much as she really is. She's a drama queen and thinks that she's the main character, and trust me, it can be infuriating to deal with somebody like that. Not only has she made a big deal about it, my wedding, but she also now wants to ruin that as well. Yeah, I'm getting married to Eve, but I'm not the only one paying for it. Eve's family wants to pay for it as a gift. This is her second marriage. Her first one was a very unhappy one. My only contribution is towards the deposit of the venue, which I was supposed to pay a while ago. Right as I was about to, she called and demanded the money. I asked what for because, I already paid my monthly maintenance. She threatened to take me back to court, and I can't afford it. It negatively affected my business the first time, so I gave her part of the money. When she saw Eve, she bragged that her wedding would never happen because she was going to milk me dry. Eve gets upset with her and called her many names, which was when Tania, my ex, scratched Eve. It was a minor scratch and she put a band-aid on it, but Eve is upset now. We've fought a lot because of my ex, and I'm afraid that she might not want to get married to me because of what my crazy ex did. I'm sure that she'll try to ruin any happiness that I have because she's bitter. So, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll update you guys. What's up, everybody? Update number 2 is coming out, and now we're back to Tania's perspective. That's right, the original poster is coming back with another update, and this time the title is, "My sister is going to my ex's wedding even though she knows how I feel about it." I've just found out that my sister is invited to Peter's wedding. And, well, she's going. I asked her not to go as that would make me feel bad, and I'll be honest, it's not fair that he's moving on so fast. I mean, I'm not bitter about it, but I just don't want to see it, especially after what Eve did. When we met, we exchanged a few words, but I did not touch her, despite what some people might be saying in the comment section. She scratched herself and is claiming that I did bodily injury to her. I tell you, there's some very dramatic people in the world, so I went to my sister and I told her everything. She told me to stop being so darn dramatic and instead start dating again. I don't want to start dating though, because my kids are young, and I'm not like those who would put a partner before their kids, and I know that man is still very much bitter. Anyways, I saw the invitation to go to the wedding and I asked why she's going. She said that she's not only family member going, and there's more going too. This is when I realized that Eve and Peter are turning people against me and making me look unhinged. Wow, that's not true. I did all I did for the sake of my babies. But I guess life is not fair. Now my own sister is going to my ex's wedding and is not apologetic about it. I will let her attend. I will not cut ties with her because she chooses to go. But this has let me know that we are clearly not on the same page. You know what? I'm going to be a good person and wish the happy couple a good marriage, and I'll stop asking for extra money even though I get short often. Everything's gone up. It's not like I enjoy asking for money. It's clear that he just wants to be able to freely spend his money on his high school sweetheart and not on his kids. I fear for the day that they have kids of their own. She's already told me that they're trying for a baby, and soon my kids will have to fight for attention with his kids. I guess I'm the monster in this whole situation. I've sent them my apologies and congratulations, and even though Eve scratched herself so that she would look bad, Peter since then bragged about how she wanted to press charges, but he stopped her. I thanked him for that too, even though I'm not guilty. I'm doing this only for my kids so that we can maintain peace. Even if I have to let people trample over me, I will do it for my kids. What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here one more time for something crazy to tell you. The next post is not by Tania, not by Tania's ex-husband. It is by Tania's sister, Nicole. It looks like she's found all these postings and went ahead and wanted to tell everybody how it really is, being Tania's sister. So here it is. Nicole. I see that once again my sister's telling lies, so that the internet can feel sorry for her, huh? I'm Tania's sister. Nicole and I would like to let you know that we're no longer in contact because of the unnecessary drama that she caused when she tried to ruin Eve and Peter's wedding. She failed to mention to you that I was only going to be attending the wedding because of the kids. My niece and nephews needed somebody there to supervise them at the wedding, where they would be a part of the very few kids. She could not prevent her kids from going to the wedding, so tried to forbid me from going. I don't get why she's so sour about Peter getting married when she's recently gone back into the dating scene herself and is keeping it from everybody. I have had to babysit her kids a few times so that she can go on dates. But that's not something that she should be ashamed of. She's allowed to move on. After all, it's been a while since she got divorced from Peter. Contrary to what my sister says, I am not on Peter's side. Peter hurt my sister by leaving her for somebody else, even though he did not start the relationship until after the divorce. But my sister should not be trying to milk him dry. It's unreasonable. Most of the time that she asks for money from him, she uses it on herself and not the kids. She laughs because he'll not be able to use the money on his girlfriend, and I think that's messed up, but she would kill me if I told anybody. It's kind of too late now, but I think people deserve to know the truth about my sister. I hope that she loses custody of the children for a while, so that she can figure out her priorities better. So, anyways, she told me that she was okay with me going to the wedding, and then she told me that she'll give me a dress to wear to the wedding. I don't usually go out, so I didn't have a dress that would be a fitting for a formal event. True to her word, she came through and gave me the dress and shoes. The wedding went well, of course, and there was the reception. It was at the reception that she arrived, and she appeared to be very drunk. You see, one thing about my sister is that alcohol is not her friend. She has to drink while drinking water. Otherwise, she'll do things that she regrets. She wants to speak to the bride and groom, and she said congratulations to them, and then she started dancing. I tried to get her to stop so that I could take her home. I did not want her to look bad in front of the family there, and already people were talking about how she is an unfit mother when she does not deserve that. But it was impossible. Instead, she said everything she wanted to say to Eve and her ex and told them she wished they would be never happy, ever. She told Peter that she looked so much better than Eve, who was an old jerk and could not even give him a child. They had to get security to drag her out. I called an Uber for the kids and sent them to our mother's house. Mom had no idea what happened until a few days later when the truth was forced to come out. Afterward, I took her and drove her to her home. When I got there, the place absolutely reeked of alcohol, and I realized this place has not been cleaned for several days. I got her to sleep, and then I started cleaning. This was when I came across the bills. My sister was very behind on her bills. She kept on getting sent notices, and I could not wrap my head around how when she had a job. I cleaned the house, arranged the bills in a nice little stack, then I slept on the couch. The next morning, she refused to wake up until I forced to get her up. She was clearly not in the best physical position due to her escapades the previous night, but I was furious. She promised everybody that she would not show up at the wedding. She had made a grand promise that she would support their marriage and work together with him so they could co-parent. She had even said that she would stop asking for so much money but it appeared all of that was nothing more than rubbish. At first, I thought that she slipped up and made a mistake, but once she sobered up, she told me that she did not regret it, and she wished that she had done more damage to the wedding. She wished that she had come earlier and stopped it because she still loved him. She told me that he belonged to her, and not even his high school fling could ever change that. I had to shake her and ask her if she thought one day he would wake up and just decide to get back together with her. I have no idea what happened between them. I only know that it was bad enough for them to completely just split up. I also know that she needs to move on with her life. Now, it makes sense why she has been hassling him from the time that he moved out. She was trying to find a way to keep him in her life. Don't be fooled by whatever she told you. She is not over him. All this time she's been lying and making him look bad so that he cannot move on. Moving on, I asked her about the bills that I saw when I was cleaning up. She was at least honest with me. She said that she's not been working for several months now and she's been trying to get a job, but hey, it's difficult. Even taking care of the kids is difficult, and she has to rely on the money their father sends. So I asked if it's not better to tell him the truth, maybe so that he could stay with them while she figures her stuff out. I could also help as much as I could, and she said she would speak to him when he came back from the honeymoon. So, about 2.5 weeks later, he came back. I spoke to him briefly to arrange for him to pick up the children, and my sister was at her part-time job. Later that evening, she showed up at my house and she was very, very mad, accusing me of things that I had even no idea about. She said that I'm no longer her sister because I'm working with her enemies to take her kids away from her. So, turns out that he somehow found out on his own without my help that she's not working and has been using his money to survive. Because of that, he's taking her to court and literally is suing her for full custody and for her to pay him child maintenance. I swear I was not responsible for this. I didn't tell him. After she left my house, without harming me, thank goodness, I called him and asked him how he found out, but he did not want to tell me. He told me to stay the heck out of it, even if I was going to take my sister's side. So I think I'm going to take his advice and stay out of it. I told my mom everything that happened, including her drinking problems, and how she does not have a safe space for the kids. Now, Mom is thinking of getting custody of the children. I think it's a much better idea for us to take care of the kids instead of her ex. He has a wife and their place is not that big. He should focus on his marriage and, I don't know, I don't want my sister's kids to be raised by a stranger. Speaking of my sister, she does not see that we're on her side. She has deemed me the enemy, and she says that she's going to fight for her kids. She stopped talking to me and blocked me, but I hope that she at least sees this post. My sister, I need you to take a break and figure out what you want. Mother, Peter, and I will take care of our kids while you get back on your feet. We're not trying to take your kids away from you. We're trying to help you in the best way that we can. Final update. And this perspective is from Peter. Hey guys, it's Peter. This is the last time that I will ever comment on this issue. I see that her sister has also offered her input in her own post. She's right. She's not the one who told me that Tania is in debt. I had to find out on my own, and while I was on the honeymoon nonetheless. When I found out, my wife told me that we had to take the kids and take care of them. Guys, Tania is absolutely unhinged. Look at what she did to our wedding. So, I got somebody to dig up a little bit of dirt, some that I could use, and then I found out, well, all that stuff. It was three-way custody battle. Both Tania's mother and I were trying to get full custody, and finally the judge said that I would get the kids 5 days a week, and their grandmother would get them on the weekend. Tania can only see the children with permission. Never doubt that she loves her kids. She really does. But she needs to figure her crap out before I can let her see the children. I mean, there is her obsession with me, among other things. Despite the outcome, Nicole and her mother reached out to me peacefully and said that they wanted to work with Eve and me, just to take care of the kids. So, we've worked on a system that'll help us raise the children. It's been working so far, and the kids are very happy. As for Tania, eventually we allowed her to see the kids. But more than once she slipped up. She did not show up, and the times that she was intoxicated, which made it weird for everybody. She got a few part-time jobs, but could not hold anything steady, but we've tried to support her in the best way possible. At the moment, she's working somehow, and at the end of this month, they're very likely to offer her a permanent position. She knows that we saw her post and have responded, but she's decided to take a break from social media. I think that's going to be good for her. She wants to work on herself and make a better life for her kids. Sorry guys, I thought that would be the final update, but here we are, 1 year later. Yeah, 1 whole year, and I'm just going to wrap it up with this mini update. I would like to inform you that sadly a few nights ago, Tania, well, she packed up everything she had and she left town. She told us to not look for her. She wants to start her own life without children, and I'm shocked because she was making big promises about how she'll take care of the children finally. This is after she got a permanent position at her workplace and she had been working for a year. I was so proud of her and had already started to forgive her for what she did in the past. Now I'm deeply disappointed in her. The kids are sad because they don't understand what's going on, and I have to be the one to explain to them. Tania, if you're reading this, then I hope you stay where you are. And I hope you rot. Alright guys, so I'll just start out by saying, everyone in the comment section was totally against Tania. I could not find one commenter who was sticking up for her. Let me know what you think about this story in the comment section down below. My favorite part about this story, it was unique because of one aspect. And that aspect I'm talking about, we saw 3 different people's perspectives. I was able to find 3 of the posters so we could get a different perspective from each one, and that's every single update I could find. So we don't usually get a different perspective on the same story from that many people involved, so it was a little bit of a change. Let me know what you thought about it, drop your comments down below, but the ultimate question is, do you side with Tania, or do you think she's absolutely ridiculous? I'll see you guys in the next one. Consider subscribing. See ya.